Well done, UXPilot. Well done. The big question, do you think it will be replacing you anytime soon?
I think it will get to the point where we will just be in here prompting.
All right, Chris. So what are we up to today?
Yeah, we're looking at how some of the latest AI tools perform in terms of designing experiences and to see if we're still going to have a job in the next 6 months.
The big question. So we are working with a startup at the moment called Hireable, and they're using AI as part of their tool. And we thought, why not have a look at how AI would tackle this? So it's a bit of context. We have put together a suite of brand assets, and then we've created this prompt. We might have to play around with this, but it's just to give a little bit of background about the product. People upload their CVs and they are optimized to be in the top 1% of CVs out there. So we talk a little bit about the potential customers that are going to be using this and some of the tech considerations that we need to think about as well.
And the goal of this from the AI point of view isn't to design the whole product. This is purely focusing on getting users signing up and through the initial process, which is one of the most important parts, because if you don't have users, then you don't really have a product. So that's what this bit's focusing on.
Absolutely. So today we are going to be using UXPilot. Neither Chris or myself have used this before. So we thought we'd also go through the onboarding of this. Nice and simple. Nice title, just saying exactly what it does. And a nice big button to start, get going. So let's click this. Immediately, I've got a sign up page, which is a bit more friction compared to some other tools out there at the moment. You can just start straight away without actually signing up at all. So this is adding a little bit more friction. So let's create an account.
This is like a typical onboarding experience for a lot of apps. And I think it's probably a little bit out of date now. We've got things like magic links now. And as Lucy says, a lot of people will be using social sign-ins, which is much quicker. But also you want to test, especially in a market where you've got lots of products like this, you want to test it really without having to commit anything. That's kind of what people are expecting now. So now it's pushing you through this experience to try and personalize the onboarding.
And I'll just say other, some more friction. Okay, so immediately I'm now put into a pricing page. I haven't even experienced the app's value yet. So again, this is more friction. I don't even know what's behind this, and they're asking me to pay up front. I do think this is a little bit of an outdated approach. As Chris was saying, you want to be able to experience that value before you actually jump in and proceed with a product. They do have this secondary call to action here, which you can continue for free. So for now, let's do that.
It feels a little bit sleazy to me that, like, they've grayed out the continue for free. You're forcing the user to get their card out really there. That's what you're saying the primary action should be for someone. But for someone that's never heard this tool coming in cold, to expect them to get their credit card out without, as Lucy says, experiencing that value of what it does when there's other tools in the market that are already doing that for free. You can try it, you can experience it. Why would I get my card out at that point? I think they missed a trick there. Push them straight in, show them how valuable and how much you care for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think it almost removes a bit of trust as well, like when you're going through that process. Okay, so it looks like we might be put into a tool, which is quite good. As long as it's those high level features, we don't want to bog people down at this stage in information overload. Let's start and see what happens. It sounds like it's going to be a guided tour, which is nice. So they create a new page. And then it's just telling me which design mode. Choose hi-fi, add a prompt. You can use text or images. I'm not going to use this prompt. I might just go straight in.
It's nice to see that they've got a template set up for you there. Save someone who might just be trying to see what it generates without a prompt in mind like us. So that's great.
Yeah, having defaults in a product really helps people get going.
You have to paste it into the context window.
Oh, wow. Okay, thanks, Chris. So I've pasted that in. Upload image as a reference. Oh, here we go. Things are getting in the way. Upgrade to Pro. So it's already blocked me. Okay, so this is quite an outdated way of doing things as well. So this seems like it's a freemium where you can try out the core features initially, but then you don't get access to the premium ones. They make you pay for it. Whereas a lot of people today are doing kind of the reverse trial where you give people, let's say 7, 14 days, however long you want, of full access to your app where you can just play around with it, see the full and true value, and then make that decision to upgrade later. This is another blocker. I haven't even started and I've not managed to actually see anything yet before they're prompting me to upgrade.
And if you've got a credit system like that, you don't necessarily have to do it by days or time or anything like that. You can do it by credits. Give them 1,000 credits or whatever your credit system sets up. And then it's up to them how they use those credits. But they can use all the features still. Can't we generate without an image?
We can.
Let's do that. What's Flowbyte?
Flowbyte. What is Flowbyte?
That description.
Okay, I'm curious. I might press that.
That's probably going to have to pay for that, aren't you?
Get the plugin. Oh, okay. So this looks like it's a Figma plugin. That's quite good, actually. Okay. What it's saying is that you can actually plug in your design system from Figma already, and it would then just use those styles. That does sound really powerful.
Yeah, if you don't have the style thing we generated, then you'd probably do that, wouldn't you?
I still don't know what Flowbyte is, though. That's cost more credit.
You think it's better?
That's what I think. It's exciting.
We could try it. Let us do that, wouldn't it?
Okay. Yeah. I do wonder, maybe Flowbyte lets you do multiple screens or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do desktop first.
We are going to have to...
Okay.
So, yeah, that is bad.
That's fine.
Standard.
Let's just see what it does. Let's go. Okay, there we go. We're cooking now. Let's see. Generating. So I can see from here, we can add a new screen as well, or multiple screens. Some people are saying that actually when you go beyond the scope of, let's say, just one screen, it can get harder to manage that project, at least at this moment. So it'll be interesting to see how we can generate perhaps like a full flow. Can we, zoom in.
Job-winning asset.
Yeah. Like it's like a tool in your tool belt.
Yeah, and assets are valuable things people want. So that's a nice way of framing a CV as an asset.
And what's quite nice, it's got immediately, you can just upload your CV. That feels pretty simple to use. It reduces that friction. It's got what formats are supported and also the size of a file. So immediately I'll know whether or not my CV can be added to this platform. I also like that it's got these trust signals here. We've got sort of 256-bit encryption, 10-second analysis. That's giving people an overview what's going on here, like how long will it take. It onboards people even before they've started that process. Uses a bit of social proof with 50,000 people are using this and like a product rating. And then you've got your standard social proof where you've got your logo bar for people that might have it. And the 3 USPs that we've talked about, like AI-powered analysis, expert insights, and that using that scientific approach. I think this is a very simple looking page, but it does actually hit quite a lot of good UX principles.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't had it. We didn't give it the logo, did we? So it's used just a CV icon for that. That's fine. It's got in the nav, it's got how it works, success stories, pricing. These are all things actually in our design we've uncovered through research or designed in ourselves. So it's interesting it's picked up on a lot of these. That header area is pretty strong, I think, like considering it's just come up with that in a second.
Is this just a design? I think it, rather than code.
I think it's hi-fi designs. So
yeah.
If you click on that plus, would that add another? Oh, you can save it to Figma as well. You can save it to Figma. That's interesting.
Oh, yes.
Like a code button there, so you can edit.
Upgrade your plan. This is like upgrade.
Like it's kind of annoying that it keeps saying that we've got 84 credits of 90, but you can't spend them. I don't really understand.
It's a premium feature.
Okay.
So you've got these credits, but you just can't do anything.
Your credits aren't good enough, mate.
Yeah.
You got to have premium credits.
I wonder if your plan.
Man.
Again, they've got to get people into the product, but I feel like this would be a much smoother experience
if you just try that process once, right? I don't think it would cost them a lot more to let people do that, and then they'd have the opportunity to share this with a client and use it properly, and then that's what will win them over ultimately. Am I going to be won over by a tool without going through the whole process with a client as well? Probably, maybe not. I don't know. This might be enough for me to do that, but it would be, as you say, a lot smoother with a little bit more freedom. Okay, so what can we do?
Change fonts and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. it hasn't picked up on all of the, and maybe because it doesn't have it in here. It is a Google font, but
So it has got, but yeah, those.
There you go.
It had it.
Yeah,
So
so I guess maybe that prompt was a little bit long, and we'd be better off using the style guide like kind of tool probably next time if we were going to do it, wouldn't we?
yeah. Does this mean if I choose funnel, if they're just going to update everything rather
So
the
maybe we'll,
headings?
I don't
I
know.
mean,
Probably change the
yeah,
other
it
thing.
does.
Okay, that's a bit of a limitation, isn't it? But maybe if you
Yeah.
do the style tool thing, so you can be a bit more explicit. Okay, so if we were gonna, what would be the next step to this process once they upload? What does that look like? Because that's where it starts to get more thought needed. I think this, obviously, the homepage is something that can be trained on a lot easier than the kind of next flows.
We need that processing screen, don't we?
Do you think Flowbyte would have come up with this? Because that, like from the videos we saw on the website, it suggested that it came up with a flow.
Is this auto flow?
Oh, they trolls.
We'll try that. Well,
I mean, how much did it upgrade?
it just shows it works.
I don't think we do it for a video. $15 to get screen flows of maximum of 5 screens. We only need 5, I think, for this anyway, don't we? Probably.
Yeah, I'm going to go for standard because I don't think we're going to be missing anything.
I do think we probably wouldn't have done this though if it wasn't for the video.
Yeah, it's true.
Purely for the viewer, we're going to pay our $15.
Oh, it's nice. Are you sure you want to subscribe? I like that. It's pushed us so hard. It's now, but are you sure? I don't want to. Yes, I do want to proceed. Let's go.
It doesn't need that step because the friction is the adding the cards in. So I'd remove that.
Okay, this is where we're going to have to cut from the video. Oh, that's a nice little screen though, isn't it? Little bit of a peak moment there.
Confetti. Yeah.
I
think confetti these days is like the baseline of celebrations and doing something like this. Just add it in as a baseline.
Okay, so we are back in. How do I get back? So here, page 1. It would be nice to actually rename that to something if it's had that context, a bit like yeah, without you even having to think about it. So we are going to do autoflow. Let's see what happens.
See how smart it is. Premium's not premium enough.
Okay, so we've got this create flow, easily upload your CV in PDF Word, blah, blah, blah. Is analyzing. Okay, discover key insights, recommendations, optimizing.
So welcome.
I think so.
Easily update. I mean, see, this is where I think it falls apart, but they've already uploaded a PDF or a Word, so they probably don't need to tell the people again.
No, got this nice kind of easy access upload right here. So do we need, I think I can remove this. Maybe generate all of it and see what it looks like. Okay. It's not too many. This is our complete autoflow. Here we go. There's a little bit of concern here that this is going to overwrite the work that I've already done. That's a good point. Maybe it should have had the first page up the top with that copy so you know that it's not going to be overwritten. Oh, right. Hello. Okay, so it's reused the home screen. It's changed it. It has changed it a little bit, hasn't it? It's done it as a whole flow. I wonder if we could have done that from the beginning and just clicked autoflow rather than generate. Yes, because this is now its own separate thing, isn't it? Yeah. It's interesting that it's not. Yeah, I think this has just added an extra page that we don't need. The context as well. Like, yeah. It's removed that 1%. And although it has got the backed by science, so there is something. Yeah, like you say, lost some context here. Okay. So 2-minute process. And then the third page is what I expected to be the next page after the home page. So it's explaining, it's got a loader in there. This is nice, yeah. It's got, step by step. It's telling people what's going on in the background, which is good. And I also like that it mentions that it can take up to 10 seconds. So immediately people understand that it's thinking, it's doing something, it's improving. So with Hireable, we're going to have some kind of mascot to guide you through the process. So you can imagine introducing that person here as well. And they've got that with the image here. I don't think this is the right kind of look we're going for. So something more personal. Do you think that's what it's interpreted as a mascot then, that kind of robot chap? We didn't name the mascot in our prompt, did we? Anything. All we said it needed to be is gender neutral as a guide and trustworthy. Yeah. I think this is where that level of nuance is where a human designer would do something a bit differently than just a generic icon.
of a robot.
Yeah, because that's definitely not sparking much. So that's the processing screen. And then we move along. Okay, so we have got like a preview of the CV analysis complete. Talks about the score. And that's nice. It's actually already picked up on some of the things that it might score on, which is the ATS compatibility. ATS it's like an automated system where you put your CV through and it will scan for like keywords. It talks about the content quality. I like that it's talking about the strengths, strengthen your professional summary, quantify your impact. It's also got this timeline on top, or the process. So it's at the moment it's analysis, recommendations, and optimization. So it does seem like it's trying to guide people through this process. It's got some interesting ideas, a few detailed recommendations. Let's see beyond this.
Oh, and then it says it's complete. That's a bit confusing. That's almost like a duplicate, isn't it? It's lost the context of that kind of step-by-step approach it had at the top, which I think worked quite well. The scores kept the same, but this feels like just a repeat of the screen, but not as good. I think that page after it's loaded, I think that's quite a nice idea in that it breaks it down for you before asking you to then go and follow the recommendations and make those edits and changes. Build some trust.
It's like an overview screen before that next step of optimizing the CV.
Yeah.
So you can see your current score, see the areas that you need to look at. And then you could imagine going into the next screen and working on your CV. But they just haven't quite got the flow, have they? They've lost, as you were saying, like that context of what's going on.
Yeah, and I think obviously you look at the navigation up there, it's kept with the website's navigation. That doesn't need to be there. I think that needs to change. You could bring that kind of like process bar up to the top to use that empty space that would be there. Make it personalized, so you had the person's name up there, because CVs normally have names, so we can grab the name and then personalize this experience more. I think it's lost the context of that kind of the guide, the helpful guide, completely after its first introduction. I don't think it's brought that in at all really very strongly. I mean, it feels a little bit, who's telling me these things? I think that's probably what people might be asking at that point. However, the trust signals in we found these things, and it's kept it quite positive. That's good. And the scoring breakdown is good. So there's quite a bit to like here.
Yeah, there's ideas, isn't there, that you could build into your own design. I suppose we could go through the process now of building out this one and seeing how well it does with human input. AI has come up with, and now we can go with a human AI collab. So let's do this.
The analysis takes 10 seconds as well, so it's probably worth you mentioning that.
Okay, let's try this then.
Maybe we should have set a new loading screen.
Yeah, because this was just, so with the auto analysis, these were the prompts, weren't they?
Yeah, so it's quite basic.
There really isn't much there, and I'm curious how this prompt will differ from out.
Oh, I see.
All right, so ignoring the fact that it's put the website in here, this is their updated processing screen.
Nice. Yeah, we've got a real person in there. That is potentially one way we could introduce Joe, who's the founder, because it's either doing that or something more generic and neutral as the guide. There is an argument here to say that with an AI tool like this, bringing a human part and selling it as AI plus human might be a nice edge to have, because with Joe, the founder, people are already paying him a lot of money to refine their CV. So if you can bring that vibe into this, there's not only AI, it's all of his knowledge as well. That might be quite powerful.
It definitely does, just even having a picture of a human, it does. You compare it to this over here. This is just a bit scary, almost. Do you know what I mean? Like you've lost that kind of personal touch.
It just feels cold, and it could be any other tool, I think, is the thing with that. It's why illustration is super valuable and underrated. I think the only thing missing that I liked from the other one, but I liked the other one, it had what it's doing.
Like that stepped approach is, I think it's better also having the bar versus just the spinner, because that doesn't give any kind of indication like where you are in that process.
Yeah, I also think you could bring those trust signals into the Meet Alex piece, because she is that, more in case it could be Joe or the mentor. That section together is who the hell is giving me this advice, right? So if you can group that together and then have those kind of 3 steps connected to the bar, I think that combination might be quite nice.
Mm,
But you could see like having a client sat here with you and you're having these discussions together. It's not about the actual specific design itself. It's more about just like ideating with them. It's quick and it's something really tangible people can see and talk about. I think that is valuable.
definitely. I mean, we've done it previously in workshops where we do these co-create sessions and basically do block wireframing. Even that has gathered some really valuable feedback from clients, because once you see something tangible, it sparks discussion and ideas. And then this is almost like that next layer, isn't it? Straight away, they can get an idea of how it's even going to look. And as Chris was saying, you spark those conversations. What's working, what's not working in this? And if you could just throw it all away and click generate again.
These ideas need to feel like no one needs to get wedded to them. I think that's the nice thing about it. What can often happen if you have a designer sat doing it in isolation, they'll go away, create something, get a bit attached to it, and then the feedback breaks down a bit there, I think. Whereas this creates almost a third party we can all point at and say, this works, this doesn't work. Let's say there's no attachment to the design.
It's obviously, it's nowhere near 100%, but it is interesting, isn't it? I think. Okay, so maybe we just do one more screen of this and see what happens like with the human AI collab. It's whether or not you just remove that overview screen and straight away jump people straight in.
This is exactly where you'd use a test this, I think, because it's whether you need that extra screen, that extra level of hand holding and guiding or not.
Shall we jump into when you're optimizing the CV now?
Yeah.
CV has been passed successfully. Let's just assume there's no error flows here at the moment.
I suppose the goal of that specific page, that next page for the user at that point.
Yeah, is to optimize their CV. Do we introduce the idea of adding a job description here?
Yeah, so their goal is to optimize their CV. The app's goal and the business goal is to encourage them to get it to the point where they want to export it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And that also the export is, that's what we want users to do. Okay, let's do it. Generate.
Is it going to generate the homepage again?
I know each time.
I love the homepage so much.
It's really tied to it. Stuff.
Just delete that.
What can I? It's a premium feature.
What?
Section editing is a premium feature.
What?
I delete? I don't think I can delete either.
So I can't even use this really because I've paid and I can't use it.
And then it goes,
Oh, it has. It's just adding like, that's weird, isn't it? I wonder why it's done that.
Okay.
Maybe it's thinking we're doing iterations of the one screen versus a flow. Maybe there's somewhere that you set that up.
Okay.
Because they've marked one as main on the left, haven't they?
Yeah.
We should have done it like that. But never mind. Got that.
This is just because you can't add screens to then generate the flow.
Yeah, I think that's what you do.
Yeah.
So that's where we put the prompt. I think this is for iterating on one screen.
Well, that's good feedback for them if they're watching.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at the analysis. It's a little bit underwhelming. I guess this is just that like analysis complete. So now I can click optimize my CV. So it's almost this screen again.
It has added that screen again. So there's the bits there that is similar to the other thing, really, isn't it? It hasn't. Even with our more in-depth prompt, it's produced a similar thing. I like the potential to reach 95%. That's a nice little touch.
I also like that you can export the current version in a template they've already provided. That's the assumption. But really, the main goal is to optimize their CV.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad shout, though. I like that you could just be like, no, I just want to download what you've done kind of thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, I suppose that's super quick and super easy, isn't it?
Maybe if it's just a PDF. I think when we were talking about signing up to get that, that might be too much. Then I think you'd want to see it before you commit to signing up. I think what we've done actually is probably what we're missing in our design is that you can just export straight away and just use the optimizations without really doing anything else. So maybe we just need to add that concept in.
Yeah.
And I really like the linking the score to something tangible, which is nice.
Yeah. My only thing would be try and make that stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Nice and simple. You kind of understand where you are and then where you want to get to. So it's almost a bit like kind of hi-fi wireframing on the fly to get kind of ideas.
Yeah.
I think it's really useful.
Yeah, I think I can see why people are using these kind of tools for sure. Yeah, maybe we should give the other tools a go as well and see how we get on with those.
Yeah. Okay. So added the prompt into Lovable. Let's just see what happens.
It's the exact same prompt as we used in the other one.
Yeah. So what I don't know about Lovable is beyond that first page, how well it works, really.
Yeah, the thing with Lovable is it builds whole apps, doesn't it? I'm hoping it will be better at creating that sequence because it will try and make an app from this.
But you can see how quick and easy this is. So I went onto the homepage. It's just a text box where you can type and it would take you into this straight away and you can start building. But this is how quick and easy it is to just go from an idea to this.
And this is a long wait. It's done a fairly good job, I think, and people expect this to be a bit longer, so it's okay, and it's telling you what it's doing, especially in the left. I think it's fine because it's saying, no, I'm doing all this work for you. I'm writing this code for you, so you're willing to wait.
Yeah.
But where people remove friction, they've removed it in every single place. As he says, it's literally just one thing to copy and paste in, and it's showing you exactly what it does. It's friction-free, really.
You've got this kind of almost generic preview, but here it is actually telling you what it's doing, so you know what's going on, which is really nice. And it's also said the first version, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm intrigued.
And it's creating, I said, I'm always mind blown by Lovable and what it can interpret. Okay, it's picked up on a lot of stuff there from that long prompt, more so than the other app, I'd say already.
Yeah, I suppose that first one, UXPilot, seems like it's more kind of the design focused, but it does seem to have that layer of code that you could do if you upgrade to the premium.
Okay, so it's focused the headline on a benefit, which is landing a dream job.
And then that kind of second, like USP.
Yeah.
And then as you scroll down, what have we got? We've got how it works.
Bit of social proof. It's still the same, interestingly. I think there's the same nav, wasn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. The only thing the other one did better was being able to just upload straight away.
Yeah.
Okay, so it takes you short upload. I'll upload a CV, but just notable differences between them. We do have like your CV is kept private. We do not share with third parties. That's quite nice, but I would say that this is much more scannable. And then also using icons as well really helps. You have the max 5 meg thing and like what doc types are supported. Let's have a look. Continue. So this processing screen is quite nice. It's happening one by one.
It's got a kind of results screen like the other one, but it's very basic and not particularly nice looking, is it?
Yeah, but we've got to remember that this is actually coded.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one's just
published it now and it's working.
Yeah. Let's see results in a complete application. So perhaps we should be saying add some
dummy data so that we can experience the full kind of optimization process. I think after this, if we do Bolt as well and see what that one produces.
Yeah, let's see what it does. It's quite nice how it's a simple website, isn't it? They have used that primary color to branding throughout.
But the benefit to the color.
They didn't do the heading and the font either.
I'm guessing it'll just use, it probably won't use that CV.
Yeah, it'll just be.
Which is fair enough.
This is a marked improvement, I would say. Even just say we've got your CV analysis results. No kind of image here, but I don't know if Lovable has access to creating images because I think having like a avatar or a human photo this would help.
We could easily attach an image or whatever image we wanted.
This is quite nice as an overview. Shows where you could improve or what's working, what isn't working.
Just giving a percentage of how yours stacks up with others.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, little gamification.
Yeah, so they both created this kind of intermediate screen to build trust that it's personal to the person, which is interesting. Again, that's the kind of thing you really do want to test because it might be you don't need this and you could do this in the main screen, or it might be really valuable and people need to see this to trust it.
Yeah. And what's also, so the next screen is that kind of optimized by the looks of it, but they have also given some extra direction for people, which is nice. You could actually get a recruiter to look at this. And this is something that Joe is looking at doing if you did want that kind of more personal touch.
I think the only thing I'd say about that is you've put essentially 5 different options there for people. I think at this stage, you'd want to just focus on one main action, which is the optimization and preview. So I think people at this point would be like, okay, this reads well, but let's see the preview, what's going on, before they'd commit to going and scheduling a recruiter view. So I think those call to actions later on would be a really good upsell as well. So you get that personal touch. Yeah.
But what it has done well is it's only used one primary call to action as well. So just as a quick view, it's like, there is a lot going on here, but I know that this is where it's trying to lead me to, which is good. It's taking those UX considerations that it's going through.
I mean, you could make that into more of a timeline if you wanted to just have it more of a timelined approach. So you had the optimize my CV at the first stage of that next steps area, and then they could see what could come after it. That's probably how I'd frame it if I did want to bring those next steps into this page.
Or as you say, maybe the timing is just off. Maybe this should really be in that next screen once you've optimized it, because at the moment you haven't even experienced the value of the product, have you? Aside from getting your kind of overview score.
I'd bring that other idea that the other tool had where it's saying key improvement areas and then linking that to the impact of that, because otherwise you're like, so what? Based on all the weighing CVs we've analyzed in the past and Joe's expertise, we'd expect fixing these things to improve your CV and potentially reach the 95%. Yeah. Does it? So what happens if you click optimize?
I assume it wouldn't work. Okay. It's optimized.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be nice to get to that next screen.
Yeah.
It's not much to try and get it to that.
Yeah.
I'll just ask it. All right. And this is like a really basic one. If you were to actually create this, you've got to think almost a bit like a developer. You've got to put together just saying exactly the kind of requirements that you want. So we could get this a lot more refined, but it's nice just to experiment and get the ideas as it is.
I think these are great tools for discussion and ideation because the designer has been the one to create this. You could do it in tandem with your client and discuss this and refine it and iterate it together. I think the key thing is you've got to be a designer to know what to prompt and what not to prompt and what things should be added where at what time. That's obviously I'm going to say that as a designer, but I think that is the case.
If you're not a designer and you've got an idea, you want to see what it looks like, it's going to get to a certain percent. And then I think that kind of experience of knowing what, should be on the page and the value you don't get from AI at the moment. And it's whether or not it will keep evolving and changing.
Okay, done it.
Here we go.
Okay, so it's got the edit mode.
It's still using the guide because I didn't actually make another reference of the guide. So it has kept that kind of context.
That's nice. I like how it's given a top level overview of what Alex's suggestions are.
That's nice. Complete save, download. I can now just modify this.
Saves it. What happens if you pick up?
Oh, does it actually
Yeah.
But it's quite a nice way to see how those interactions with the users, there's obviously a lot missing. It's nice that it's then tied that next step again to get expert advice.
Like that.
And not bad. A lot of improvements required, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
That's some nice ideas there that we could potentially build on. For sure.
Yeah. But if you were someone that was just getting started with this and you wanted to get an idea out there just to show people, itself is really valuable, but it does need a lot more work to get it to a product that is enjoyable to use, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's just do Bolt. This is Bolt's landing screen. You can literally just put something in and it will spin something up for you. And then also showing here what's going on within those files as well, which is nice.
The font's obviously a problem, but ignoring that, it has chosen to, it's created a job-winning asset. Funnily enough, it's the same copy as the first tool we used. It's got that nice upload your CV pattern there that people tend to recognize as an upload, where you can drag and drop it, which is cool. It's an amazing looking screen, but if we just forget the design and think about the flow, it's not bad.
Yeah. This feels like a wireframe almost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's very basic.
That's it. Okay. So now paste in the other.
Exactly the same prompt.
I think that it feels quite a bit more generic, so I'll be interested to see if this makes it.
So far, bulk seems to be lacking the most. I would say UXPilot has obviously got the best design and thought process behind how that could look. Lovable obviously works and it does okay, but Bolt so far seems a little bit lacking. So I'm just going to add another CV. Let's see if it can do it. Okay.
Yeah, again, it's fairly generic.
Yeah, it's used the AI guide, which they have sort of called out in a different color, so your eyes do go there.
Yep.
It's from a sort of hierarchy point of view. You want to guide people through the process. The score's almost a little bit hidden, but then it does tell you what kind of areas to improve.
The industry insights is nice as well. It gives weight to some of the recommendations, taking data from something that's real.
Yeah. Yeah, it anchors you where you are, amplifies it a bit again, doesn't it? With, hey, it's stronger than this. That would probably make you feel good and then also encourage you to try and make it even better. I do like these metrics they've pulled out.
Yep.
And that shows you where you should be improving.
It's odd that it's picked up some of the design, some of the colors, but they all seem to struggle a little bit with the fonts.
And maybe that just wasn't defined very well, because I feel like everybody's not managed it. Although we've got typefaces, headings, it should be.
Yeah, it's just obviously it's missed it. They all have their own kind of ways of handling style guides and things, I think. So there's probably a better way to do it than just adding it into the prompt. But yeah, from each, there's some interesting ideas that you can take.
Okay, so we want to refine this, but we have that problem of where it just keeps modifying this one screen.
So the content of this screen is in the format of a chatbot UI, walking the user through the results.
I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that works quite well because then you haven't got two different interfaces they're going to have to interact with. So I think that, yeah, we can prompt this so that maybe it goes to the left or something. Because they all have that chat context and then preview on the right, all of them. I think without that, it doesn't quite feel as co-creaty.
Gotcha. All right.
Then it feels like you're building something with the chat still.
Well done, UXPilot. Well done.
So maybe now, can we then do this again, but say have the chat window must be on the left, maybe a third of the screen, and then the other 2/3 is the preview, the CV preview.
Encouraging.
And then I think, so that's the upload, hang tight while it's analyzing. Then it's got
This is the overview.
Okay.
So now this is when you're actually editing the CV.
Yeah, we need a call to action.
Maybe it's the overview of the result of CV analyzation. What is this? It's because it's all in one, really, isn't it? Analysis complete.
See what it comes up with.
Okay.
It's probably the main thing is getting that left and right view, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is just a very different way of designing, isn't it? This is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Drop Figma.
Just to explore more ideas again, because it's quite tough.
Because it's quick.
Have a look what it's come up with. I think this could obviously work harder, couldn't it?
Yeah.
That is nice, though. Just saying what's going on.
I think that works well.
Yes.
Because then, you've got the score breakdown then, you've got the thing, yes, improve it. And then you're taking the action and iterating from the left for the most part when you're interacting with Alex. And then you're seeing the results on the right. I think that follows the same mental model as the other tools that people might be used to using in terms of chatbots. Like the colors are crazy. Other than that, I think like the format and everything works.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the final page then? So yeah, we've got the prompt in there, and then okay. Great. Analyze your CV, which section would you like to improve first? Okay.
It's more. Then it's like a.
That's not as nice.
I think this is when you could take over on this right hand side, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Then export CV. Yeah.
That's probably going to feel like quite a nice experience, though. I think there's something about that.
Even on the homepage, you could just embed this into the homepage, and so that is the start of the experience.
Yeah.
That will be an upload button, basically. You won't have that CV like the preview. It's upload, drag and drop to upload. Yeah, you move that here. and then it will take you to another screen once you.
We just have that upload still, and it just takes you to this page basically, where he's already started to analyze it. I think the only thing we're missing here is like it's saying what he's doing, but it's not necessarily giving any weight to who Alex is yet. So I think that's the only thing missing here.
I mean, you could just put this message in here because you've got 10 seconds, so you'll just start reading, right?
Yeah, potentially you could put it in there. So yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, although it might make more sense to have Alex like on the left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this. I like that it's put it inside here. This is nice.
Yep.
It is pretty cool. It has got really good ideas.
It's just the speed, isn't it? I just think if you've got a designer that knows what they're doing and knows what to prompt, or someone that knows how to prompt properly what they're doing and the flow, then this is such a quick way to ideate. Even if you don't use the final thing, it's giving you like loads of ideas and direction, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It just gives you a platform to get going. It's not an empty canvas, is it? Oh, I'm a bit stuck for an idea here. Go back, brainstorm, regenerate, not sure, do another one.
Yeah.
But the big question, Chris, is do you think it will be replacing you anytime soon?
I think you still need a designer with knowing the best practices, knowing the flows, how people operate. I think this is a really good ideation and conversation tool and a way to visualize ideas. And I can see it's using these tools with people. They're using them in tandem with a design tool at the moment. I think it will get to the point where we will just be in here prompting rather than in Figma, but it's not quite there yet.
Not there yet. I totally agree. But as you said, it's hugely valuable. I think if we did have another client on the call and be able to walk through those ideas and really just come up with a bare bones overview of how stuff should be working and then put it into Figma or develop it further.
It's taking you from 0 to 1. So even if you're a founder and you've got like some sketches, this is the next level up from that really that you can bring to people. So yeah, there's value for that kind of audience too.
Yeah, and then because we know as well that prototyping flat designs in Figma, you think it's going to work really well, but as soon as you start interacting with it, which is why those prototypes are so valuable, you can see how those interacts have an impact on that user flow, which is something quite nice about being able to click through it and see how it would work as a user, because you can see pitfalls as you go too.
Yeah, I could see us uploading the designs we do into something like this to prototype them and to bring live, because creating a table or a set of complex flows and upload flows and things like that in Figma is just, it takes too much time. So if you can grab those kind of static professional designs, put them into something like this to seam them together, it will save time just doing that, to be fair.
We'll have to try that next and see how well they convert.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and we haven't used UXPilot before, so it's been interesting to see where design is going with AI. The only way is up and for further improvements as it goes. So it'll be interesting to see how these tools evolve and how us as designers evolve with them and change our workflow. That's, I think, the main takeaway. Like, more ideas is good overall. So being able to use these as a tool in our kit is really valuable.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We'll leave it there, shall we?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.